All right, fam, it has been what we want to call an amazing 24 hours. Quite frankly, it's been an amazing year and some change, but yesterday really took the cake. I couldn't even begin. I'm watching the television, with my mouth partially opened, watching this whole situation happen. And it was like watching something out of a movie. This can't be real. This is not America. But I just watched the news as much as I could, and then I had to just take breaks from it because eventually it's almost like PTSD. It'll play with your mind a little bit if you're not careful. But I wanted to bring somebody on that I have just had so much respect for. I have followed his career. This is probably one of the most brilliant minds of our time, and I'm not even using any kind of alliteration here or metaphors. This guy's brilliant, and you're going to know what I'm talking about when I say his name, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, by the way, I was always kind of jealous of his name. I wish my last name was Ballentine, but it wasn't. It's Bo. Warren Ballentine's on the phone. What up, boss?
KD, what's good, brother?
Hey, man, I'm winning, man. Bro, you've been at this for a long time. Of course, you're an attorney, political activist, radio dude, podcaster, just father of the year, all of that. Man, if you can just take us just back just a little bit, take me to when the Senate was convening, and when the noise came. And they found out that, we are under attack. Now, I know you have connects inside that building. What was the mindset at that time?
Well, KD, I'm going to tell you, man, I have a brother who's like a brother to me, who's actually a white dude, who's a Republican member of Congress from Arizona. We went to high school together. My last year of high school, I left Chicago and went to Arizona, and my last year of high school was in Arizona. And he called me. He called me from the floor of the House. And he was like, Warren, they're attacking the people's house. And I said, who's attacking the people's house? This literally, I don't think the people who initially came there had in mind, we're going to go tear up the people's house. But after the rhetoric that was spoken right before they went in there, they was ready to go. And then I say this too, it's another aspect of this that nobody's talking about, and it's kind of curious to me. And I'm trying to find out information on it right now. Nobody on a national level, nobody in the media is saying, wait a minute, these people broke into the members of Congress and the Senate offices. They took pictures in their offices. That's a national security breach. They got all kind of information on their computers, files, everything about what's going on around the world and domestically that Americans don't know nothing about. What if somebody went in there and downloaded something? Maybe that was the play. Maybe it was, let's hype them up so much they go in there and we have operatives go into these offices. Because what's the purpose of going into these offices to take a picture? It's no reason to go into these people's offices. But if you go in there and you see that and you can download stuff, it's crazy. And then when you really, what's really even more sad about this, from 1860 to 1865, you had the Civil War going on. Not once during the Civil War you ever saw the Confederate flag flown or bannered in the people's house.
That's right.
But you saw it yesterday.
That's right.
You saw it last night.
You got to help me, because I have been a person that I've never really put anybody in 100% category. I think the worst of us got some best in us, and the best of us got some worst in us.
I agree with that.
Yeah, man. I here lately, this thing yesterday with Trump, it challenges that belief for me just a little bit. Well, I mean, he probably got some good in him, some best or whatever. I just feel like it's not as much as I thought it was. I'm gonna have to dial back on that some, man, because just think about it. You're sitting in the White House in your office watching television, watching all of this unfold. You knew it was gonna happen. But you had your vice president in there.
He wanted it to happen.
Why though? Why? Tell me why.
He wanted it to happen because he was trying to prolong the Electoral College from certifying Joe Biden as the 46th president. And really, if you really want to know, if you really want proof of what I'm saying, all you have to do is Google Rudy Giuliani calls the wrong senator. When they were in the break after all this happened and they were about to reconvene at 8 o'clock that night, in that break, Rudy Giuliani was calling Republican senators up and down the aisle, begging them, literally begging them to contest every state that comes up from this point on because they needed to keep pushing this out as long as they could. And they needed to push it out at a minimum to tonight, hopefully into next week.
Why?
Because they said they needed more time to show the proof that this election was stolen. But what they were trying to do, and see, this is the Constitution is set up in a way where certification starts on January 6th. Now, for everybody who may not have known this, because of the Electoral College Act of 1887, they had 5 days. So they didn't have to certify this last night. They could have waited to January 11th. January 11th is a cutoff. What Rudy and them were trying to do was push it past January 11th, because if it's not certified past January 11th, then the certification can't happen. It does go back to the states. That's why they were trying to push it back. They were going to try to stall it, because think about it. If they would have objected with the members of Congress, if the senators would have objected, because you needed a senator to sign off on it, if they would have objected, let's say, to 25 or 30 out of the 50 states, you're talking about a 2-hour debate. You're talking about 60 debates, 60, it's 2 hours, 30 times 2.
Yeah.
Because each one gets 2. So you're talking about 60 times. That would have drug out to the 11th. And if it would have drug out to the 11th, they would have had a chance to push it to the 12th, and then they push it to the 12th, then it goes back to the states.
Man, this dude here, bro. Man, I don't even know what to think. So tell me this: what does Citizen Trump look like? He's not going to be in the White House. What does that look like for him?
Well, this country doesn't believe in locking up their presidents, so he may be criminally charged. He's not going to go to jail. But he has power, man. He has 74 million people. If you listen to that crowd and you look at what they did based on him just saying a couple of words, he's gonna be controlling a lot in the Republican Party. But what's even scarier, to be honest with you, is what's happening next. See, it's a lot of stuff that nobody is talking about, because while this was happening in D.C., in the Capitol, in the state of Washington, you had people literally trying to overtake their capital. In California, you had people trying to take their capital. In Richmond, Virginia, you had people trying to take their capital. And so even on the black web right now, you have militias right now saying, this is our time. This is what we've been training for. This is what we need to go take it to the streets right now. You see how the cops are treating us. They're not killing us. They're not locking us up. We need to go to the streets right now. So I've been telling everybody on my national show, on all the shows I do across different networks, people shows that I go on, look, just be safe out here, because right now you got a lot of folks who they believed all the lies that Donald Trump has given them. And like I said from the beginning, this is what democracy is. You as a rich person convince poor people that they need to take up arms because you're being done wrong, and by you being done wrong, they're being done wrong. That's what democracy is.
Well, I have long time ago governed myself accordingly. I have the right hand of fellowship and the left hand and the backhand fellowship with me at all times. Look at your neighbor, say all times.
Amen. And then I want to say one other thing, brother, before we get out of here. The thing that's happening with Father Pfleger, I want to kind of touch on that just for a second in Chicago, because as a kid, I played basketball in that gym. As a kid, I went there and did rallies and other things. I worked with him as an activist, as a grown man. And I just want to say this publicly. Before everybody throws this man away, let's wait to see the facts of everything in this particular case, because I'm saying this as somebody who was thrown away, who didn't do anything and was lied on. So I'm saying, please don't throw this man away. Look at his works. Look at what he's done. And if you do that, give him the benefit of the doubt, because right now he cannot legally say anything, because if he says anything, then they're going to charge him with jury tampering. So he can't come out and defend himself. And because people are saying, well, he's not saying anything. He can't. Legally, he cannot say anything.
Okay. Good stuff, man. 2 questions before I get you out of here. The 25th Amendment, do you think that that's something that's going to be enacted?
Well, the only way it can be enacted is if Pence calls for it and the Senate agrees that it should be enacted. Now, if the Republicans were smart, they would, because it would take a certain amount of power away from Trump. I don't think they're going to enact it. And in fact, I don't even think the Democrats want them to enact it, because what happens is once you open up Pandora's box for one side, it opens up the other side too. And this is why you see sometimes the Democrats and Republicans not fighting back on issues that you be like, what are y'all doing? Why aren't you fighting back? It's because they got skeletons in their closet and they don't want nobody to see their skeletons. So they just let it ride.
And
so
then there's
with
that.
him only having 13 days, I doubt they're going to do it.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. We talked about Trump. Just one final question. What does Biden's first 100 days look like?
COVID-19, and really for Black, brown, and poor people, what we should be doing, everybody in radio, everybody in the media should be calling for Biden and Harris to literally do 3 things in the first 30 days. One, make it where all non-violent felons and misdemeanors can be erased one time and one time only, and call it the Second Chance Act. Let these people who have been arrested for selling marijuana get their records clean so they can get back into the real workforce. I mean, hell, the government is selling marijuana now all over the country. So why let these people keep a record? Get rid of these records so that they can go and get into the real workforce. I mean, some of these people can't even get jobs at Walmart. They can't get insurance. They can't get an apartment because they had a misdemeanor from 10 years ago. And that was nonviolent. So let's erase these records. Now, if you were doing domestic violence or murder somebody, that's different. Secondly, get the infrastructure bill passed. The reason China is wealthy now, they were a developing country, but they realized, look, we need to have an infrastructure bill which created in China 30 million jobs. Once those jobs was created, their economy boomed, and now they're loaning everybody in the world money. Lastly, we have to prioritize education. And what we need to do with education is simply this. Give teachers on the federal level $25,000 extra every year outside of what they make in their states, so that we can get the best of the best in our classrooms again, because these kids are being taught how to pass a test. They weren't taught like you and I. We were taught to analytically think. We were taught logically. They're teaching them how to pass a test because our country is a capitalistic country, but the definition of capitalism is simply this: a poor, a middle, and a 1%. And if you look at our educational system, it's the same way. You got the underperforming kids, the average kids, and the AP honor kids. And we need to get rid of that, because it wasn't like that when we were growing up. Even if you was an exceptional kid, you did that outside of school. Everybody was treated the same in school.
Okay, man. Some good stuff. Warren Ballentine, man. How do people find you, brother?
Man, they can follow me on Instagram on under Truth Fighter. They can follow me on Twitter, Laverdad. That's for my Puerto Rican heritage and my Black heritage. That just means truth. That means the truth in Spanish. So they can find me there, man. And I'm all over the place radio-wise. I mean, I do shows. I do a national show. I do a show on the weekend in Raleigh. I do a show in Chicago on V103 on Saturdays. I mean, I'm kind of all over the place, man. So they can find me.
We appreciate you, man. We need your voice and we need your presence, and thank you for showing up consistently, man. Blessings to you, Warren Ballentine family, on the KD Bo Show.